Very popular time. Hello, everybody. I'm your girl, Fell in Love with Carly, and I'm here with another show of. I almost said the wrong name. I almost said, "Let me be real with you, y'all." You know, I'm so used to that one. But we're back with Dear Sister, a platform that's here to create a safe place for us girls to have girl conversations. And I mean, it could be Dear Sister from a brother too, or it doesn't matter. We're still sisters, okay? So I have Danae.
Danae, yes.
Danae, I knew I was gonna do that. I can't say. I am gonna say why I keep saying Danae. I keep trying to say your name is Danae, but I keep hearing Danae because
That's
there's we have somebody that's really close to the family. Her name is Danae,
hmm
and even though it's Danae, it just keeps coming out wrong. But it's okay. Your name is Danae. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
yes. My name is Danae Lyons. I'm actually in the east or the west coast right now. Born and raised in Ohio, but now live on the west coast. I act as well as do software training for clients, customers, everything. So, in this day and age, you have to have more than one tool in your bag, and that's kind of where I am.
You do software training and you're into acting.
Yes.
What
hmm
kind of acting are you into? Is it something that we could know about?
I do both commercial and I do typically do television, scripted television. So, I was in a previous season of On My Block. I had a small part in the New Edition series that came out a few years ago, and a couple of things sprinkled in here. And then I think probably the most recent thing is in the last couple of years, I was in a Sonic commercial that was campaigned for throughout everywhere. So there was that one black couple that was on there. I was that couple.
You're one of the couples on there.
Yes.
That-
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You're in the right place to do these things. I'm just not breaking into some things myself, so it can be exciting to try new things, right?
It absolutely is. I mean, I one of the things that always drew me to entertainment is one because at the end of the day you get to play and you get to have fun. But then you also get to, for me, you can kind of process things that may be happening in life through what the opportunities that you get. So it's always fun. I always meet a bunch of random, good, great, amazing people. So
It's so funny that you would say that because it really helps us transition right into the part of the conversation because our topic of discussion today is discovering yourself. And you tapped on it real quick with acting, how it helps you to kind
mhm.
of dive in there. Do you
it
have any
what
like one experience that you can say you had to pull on while you were doing your acting to to actually get you into that a particular spot mentally?
Yeah, honestly, I feel as though I always believe the right roles come at the right time. So I've had a bunch of different roles throughout life, but I think even theater, if I go back to like when I heavily more so did theater, having one of the worst breakups at that phase of my life, and then the next role that I have is a woman overcoming that type of situation in a relationship. So then I can pull from what I have, process my feelings, and then find that um, rediscovery of your own worth, of your own confidence. So I always try to pull that way. Um, Anytime that I've started to lean into more comedic related stuff, it's usually because I'm going through a phase where I personally am not smiling as much, as not as happy, not doing the things that bring me joy. And then I come along something that allows me to just have that freedom. I feel like comedy allows you more freedom and drama allows you to truly, truly process.
That's true. You know, I agree with that, all of that. I discovered I've done a couple of roles here and there for a couple of different things myself, and I shared with everybody last time the most recent thing I'd been working on, and that was more reality, but it still took me to go inside myself even to do that, like to push the boundaries of myself. And the more I run into people, I see women mainly. I can't even say just women because men can relate to it as well about my new journey. Because I've been bald headed for less than a year. Last year, at the end of February, beginning of March, I started losing my hair,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a shocking thing. I know that I heard God tell me to cut my hair off, and I was like, cut it off. I had these locks, and I'm like, well, how much? And I kept playing with them. Like, I don't know how much. Can I get a little bob here? And then it started falling out. I was like, oh, you mean all of it? Like, oh God, you really? What are you doing to me? Because you know I won't do a bald head, right? And that hair fell out so fast all the way. I had to end up shaving it, and it's been about a year.
Yeah.
And so it forced me to get to know myself on a different level, minus the hair, because you're told in your life, girls shouldn't be bald headed. Girls shouldn't do certain things. A woman should have certain attributes, and this is the characteristics that make her a beautiful person. And I had lost all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes and my skin changed everything. So I had to redefine it. So now I'm in a space where I had to go and literally rediscover what made me Carly.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. And now I pull from that for everything. It's been such a, oh my gosh, too realistic of a journey. I lost 50, I was going to say 50 pounds. Maybe it is 50. I go see the dietitian tomorrow. It was 46 last time I checked pounds on my own, working hard.
Yeah.
That's hard
Which is
work.
amazing. Because none of that's easy. And even as I love that you're talking about that because I always think it's a level of vulnerability. It takes a very strong person to be vulnerable. It is not something easy. So whether you are hosting or having conversations or do in acting space, whether it's reality or scripted, that requires you to put yourself out there. And that is, I always look at that as it's a level of vulnerability that is should be immensely celebrated, but then it connects with other people because you never know you processing something in front of someone else can help them to help themselves or help them to process something. And I mean, I think that's a beautiful thing. And I always saw that I think firsthand in theater, because usually when you do theater after a show, a lot of times you get to like go and talk with the audience and stuff like that. And hearing people have conversations with actors after shows, then you understand. I know I was doing this and just trying to do the best that I could and connect with myself and put myself out there. But then when you hear how other people interpret what you're doing, then you're like, oh, there's so many women who are going through the same thing, who are experiencing this same thing of various ages of every sort of background, and they connect on that. So I think that's amazing because it's your vulnerability does something for someone else.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um, I want to know, is acting your first passion?
100%. 100%. Ask my mama.
Look, I
There
can
was
tell when I asked you, you just started smiling so big.
Oh, 1,000%. I feel like it is 100% my passion. It's always been. My mom has asked me every which way from Sunday, and I was like, no, take me here, do this. I want to do this. She's like, you got school. Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna do it all. My grades will be there, but I'm still doing this show, and I want to go here. But part of that is because they, it's a, at least for what it felt like for me being out in community and being around other like kids and students and things growing up, you don't always feel that comfortable to be 100% yourself. But then when you're doing theater, it's like whether it's theater or show, you wait, I get to just play and I get to just be and I get to try things. That's the other piece. You have the freedom to try stuff. And I think that can kind of build up in everyday life to where because there's so many rules and so many things happening, you're afraid to or nervous or restricted to do certain things where I find that freedom, and then I think that freedom inspires other people to also, do that too. So, yeah, hands down, number 1 passion, always my passion, always gonna find a way to find that community wherever I go.
I think that's awesome. I like the fact that you used the word restricted too. That like a lot of times you may have felt restricted to do certain things, but when you get into acting and film, it creates more of a safe space to do those things that are not the norm, maybe,
Mhm.
you
Yep,
know,
yep,
to be yourself, because you might have these
yeah.
quirky ways. I love to play dress up, right? As you can see, today was my dress up. That's it. Oh, I'm putting my collar on. So
I like it. I like the black, I like the collar.
thank you. So I love to play dress up, and I think it's one of those things that us ladies should do. Like it to allow you to tap into that creative part of us. Like we're creators. Women are. I'm sorry, we have kids. Our bodies create a whole person. You can't be more of a creator than that.
Yes,
Okay. You know, so we have this creative part of us that when we're not birthing a child,
yes.
what are we going to do with that, you know? And that gets more into rediscovering or discovering parts about ourselves that maybe we were told was taboo. Like you can't wear that, you can't say that, you can't walk that way, you
Mhm.
know. It and a lot of times grown women, it's a lot of grown-ups out here who feel depleted or lower than who they are, only because they're trying not to be, they're trying not to be whatever that person said you can't be,
Mhm.
whether it came from a
Mhm.
religious background or their grandparents just being really strict. A lot of times it does come from the church, you know. I don't care what church you belong to, so many things you're not supposed to do. Don't do that. Like, oh, I was
Mhm.
just walking, you know, that's my natural walk. Okay, let me do this thing.
Mhm.
You know, everything is so restricted and confined that when you get to a certain
Yeah.
age, it's like I'm missing something. What am I missing? That's what happened to me. I was like, what am I missing? I'm happy. I love myself. There's so many different things I'm doing, but it was something that I felt like my creator wanted me to learn more about me. And as I
Mhm.
lost the hair and everything, it gave me a space of true vulnerability to really dive in. And it was such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful experience that everybody said, "What are you going to do with your hair next?" I keep saying, "I don't even know. Don't ask me that. Just let me go with the flow. If it grows back, are you going to? Don't even ask me that.
Yeah.
Let me be in a space of just constantly letting God show me what He want to show me about me through this transition in my life. You know, and it's the opportunities that come when you do something when He actually the way He wants you to do it for you. I don't know what y'all
Yeah.
beliefs are. I'm sorry. I believe in God. If you say higher power, universe, whatever it is, I don't even care. We're talking about God here. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's what,
100%.
you know, I have to
And
put a disclaimer out.
no, I think that is beautiful, and there's a piece that you touched on, and I can't remember who said it, but it's the journey. Sometimes we are so focused on the destination that we forget that, like, the joy is in the journey. It is what you're learning and discovering as you're going through that. And I think between what you've experienced and just even when you look at acting in general, that whole process is looking at whatever the show you're doing and finding how you connect, how you can grow, what's the change that that person is going to go through over time, what are they experience. It is that is the process of you diving into the journey and finding out the lessons, and then who are you at each step of that. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because if we're always looking at the destination, then we're going to get there and we're going to miss all of these amazing, beautiful moments that we've had. We're going to miss all of the beautiful people that we've met along the way, the conversations. And to me, like that's the purpose. The purpose is to self-discover and stay in touch with yourself while you're doing these things so that you can have the experiences. Because you're gonna look back and be like, okay, I made it to the destination, and then you just missed how many ever months or years that you went through this thing. Girl, what did you do during that time? Who did you meet? Who did you talk to? Who did you hug during
Yeah.
that time?
And a lot of people lose themselves like that. They lose themselves by not enjoying the journey. They're like, how did I get here? Who am I?
Mhm.
They get to that place
Mhm.
and don't know who they are. And so I feel like a lot of our celebrity people, friends, they may deal with that. Like they're so busy just going and not necessarily taking time to discover themselves that they lose
Mhm.
themselves. And then you see them trying to become other people. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The faces, everybody's face look the same now. They got the same plastic surgeon. Nobody knows who they
E
are, you know.
Everybody seems like they're going to the same doctor
The
right now.
same
I don't
doctors.
know.
They got the same noses. I mean, like, oh, I mean,
Yep.
it's the same everything. Y'all's booty's the same. Like, I'm sorry. I'm not
Mhm.
sorry. I'm over it.
And it but
Who's playing the
it
role
it is
today?
the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth.
But the thing is, I'm so grateful for everybody that did it because it makes such a great place for people that are natural beauties like yourself and myself to be able to just excel in these things. So when it comes to the new roles that are going to be offered, I believe they're going to look for people that's more natural, that are not cookie cutter, you know? That, and I'm just being honest. That's what I believe that
Well,
they're going to look for. They
I
want real
ag
people right now.
oh, it's I feel like you can see it in the trend of we saw a certain trend and we saw everybody change their shape, their body, their image to fit that trend. And then now you see people getting work undone. They're
Undone.
getting more work, but they're getting undone to pull back from some of those features to look more natural. They're still getting work done, but they're trying to go to this more natural side because it's people want to see variety. Like when they look, they want to see real people and real faces and real things that are happening and not just the same person, like we said, walking out of the same doctor's office and seeing that everywhere. And that is no shade to anyone because at the end of the day, do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
But I think the focus is you as an individual are everything you need to be
Yeah.
because you are 1,000% unique beyond comparison. So why not share that and love that and grow that and get connected with that?
Yeah, and I feel like honestly, if people can tell me that they don't think God can make a mistake, then what's the problem with you? Like if you really don't believe that God can truly make a mistake, then what's the problem with you? If you keep looking at yourself every day
Yeah.
and you're so flawed, yet you really believe that God can't make a mistake, like He didn't create you, customize you to be this perfect being that's so custom, unique for Him, and it's flawed. Like what sense does that make? He made this perfect art piece that's you, and He don't make mistakes, but you were the mistake. Make it make sense. I need people to think about it. Make it make sense. If He
Mhm.
can't make a mistake, then how are you a mistake? Any part of you, any part. You just have to really dive in there to figure out.
Mhm.
I need people to dive in there and figure out what makes them so special. Like, why am I this way? Not as if it's a question mark, like, why? No, but what makes me so beautiful? What more is there about me? Am I missing something? Because they're probably missing some connector in there
Yeah.
that they, a little connector, that little, they're missing that part to connect to themselves. They're worried about outside, what other people are saying, you know, and
Mhm.
they need that. If you could have the most ideal role or the most ideal show, what would it be like?
Um, my the ideal show in my head is I want something that is related to siblings, and a group of women because I feel like there's something about the conversation and how women are with each other, how they connect, how they communicate, how they show up, and what does that look like? And even in how old I am now at 35. I have a group of 4 best friends that I've had since I was like in kindergarten. And kind of each stage of my life, I have had not added to that group per se, but developed these really strong relationships now. Like I have really great friends now that I've made in the last 5 or 8 years,
Mm.
but it's because of that foundation that I had and how me and those women have supported each other, motivated each other, picked each other up at different times, kids, marriages, breakups, anything that's happened, we've been there for each other. And so that made me feel safe, even coming out here into the West Coast and making newer friends and being able to find community with those women and just how beautiful they are and celebrate them. I think we just need more of that because I know that I've ran into women who don't have that sense of community or friendship, or they have not had that. And having conversations, it has done something for my life that I want to make sure that I continue to do. No matter where I go, I make sure that I find my roots and find a friendship that I know is going to help me survive in that new phase of my life. When I had kids, making that transition, and then people who understood what that looks like, because it's not always easy when you're, whether it's a change of job, whether it's kids in the picture, your life does change, and having people around you that understand that and can help you through that matters. But that all was built from this beautiful group of women. I gotta say, even from my mom. My mom is very family oriented, and you take care of your family, you show up for your family. And that's a mentality that these relationships that I had, from this group of girls that I've known for 20 plus years to the group of women that I've known for the last 10 years, it's all of it was built from that. So that would be my type of role, is something that is that community of women, whether it is siblings or best friends. I feel like we just need that. We need to keep seeing that version of it.
I love it. I love it. Sounds like the show. Like I love to have that type of connection with the ladies, which is weird because I don't have any sisters. I have 5 brothers. So, but I'm the girl that's
Oh,
like, it's like girl talk. Like, let's get it. But my friends,
yeah.
it's that is what it is. Like, we've been there, and I've always done these women's groups, and it's always been about supporting each other and pouring into one
Yes.
another and learning from whatever the history is, whatever the lesson is, it's learning from it. Whether we help each other to learn and grow, and it's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing, you know. And the vulnerability of it, more women need to start being more that to each other, you know, and more loving to one another and
Mhm.
more open to one another. And it doesn't have to be on a public platform. It can be in private where you
Mhm.
do have certain things, but to let people see that it's okay,
Mhm.
and to be open and vulnerable and learn something and get better, and maybe shift the internet from these weird conversations that they're having there with no substance because the, the young people
Yes.
are watching it.
Yes. What the I A lot of that, I feel like, makes everyone feel so individualized and alone. If you're just kind of watching some things and not making real connections with real people and having real conversations and real community, then things do feel very isolated and things do feel really alone. And I think we have to reverse that,
Yeah.
because it's not, that's a part of what friendships are, is yes, we are all individuals and you are amazing as your individual, but it's a reason that whole "it takes a village to raise a child" is a thing, because it is a village, and you may not always be able to give yourself everything you need, but when you have that community of people pouring into you, then that's when someone in your village is like, "Okay, you had your moment. You had your moment, you took a break, you did what you needed to do, you cried your tears. Now we're about to go outside, go hike, do something, because now it's time to, pick ourselves, keep moving and go forward. And I think that's what that connection and that, when you find women who are pouring into each other, that's what they do. They make sure, okay, I'm gonna let you have
Uh-huh.
your moment. I'm gonna let you feel everything you need to feel. But
Uh-huh.
tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
we're
That
gonna
was
get it
that
together.
hot tub moment we're talking about last time, me and Deanna. That was that hot tub moment. They called the police on us. Oh my
Yes.
God. We should have went more into that. The police came from every direction. When I say we don't know how many police showed up for us, we don't know. We don't know. It might have been 10. And all I could think about was I have on no undergarments and you guys have your body cameras on. But wait, I said it though. I told the cops, I said, you guys have body cams on. We don't have our undergarments. And they just bust out laughing like, oh my God, she's funny. I was so serious.
Like,
Excuse me,
gosh.
vulnerable moment here.
I just can't imagine, because knowing my mom's house, and it's dark outside. Oh my gosh.
And it's snow. And it's like, how many? Was it like 5? It might have been 5 of us in the hot tub, chilling with a glass of wine, talking, crying, all kind of stuff. And they came from the other street. It was like, I was like, oh my God, what is that a light?
No.
What? We don't have it on undergarments. Y'all got y'all's body cams on and stuff, but y'all back up.
Right.
We're having a
Clearly,
girls' off.
we're not doing anything here. Clearly.
That was one that goes down in history. That was historic, But ladies, girls need that,
Oh yeah.
So it's good to have a group of people who can have those moments of vulnerability together, just like your friends. So I want to know, how did you end up in California?
I said I was moving and I left. If
The look
if
on
you
your
talk
face.
to well, because it was, for me, it was always going to be the thing. So when I told my mom I wanted to start doing theater when I was like 10 or whatever, it was always like, okay, so what's the plan here? What you would I'm like, oh well, I'm gonna move to California. Like this, I'm gonna keep doing this. So it was always a thing. I did go to school in Ohio, and then I moved to Virginia for a year and moved back. And then it got to the point when I came back to Ohio after college, I was like, well, if I'm gonna move, I gotta move now. Otherwise, I'm not going to move. So then I packed up and just figured it out. It did help, I will say, because my grandfather who passed away, he lived out here also. So that was kind of like my transition of like, let me stay with him, let me figure some things out, let me get acclimated and get my sea legs, as they say. But the goal was always, I wanted to do more theater, more acting in whatever capacity I could find. And um, there's a handful of places where like you can do theater everywhere. There are opportunities everywhere, but you do have to be located in certain areas for certain opportunities. So I made that leap of faith.
Listen, I am not mad at it. That sounds about like my trip when I went to go do the show, the Gold Center stage. I literally jumped on the flight and just left. I really didn't know where I was going or anything. I was like, oh, Atlanta, huh? Okay. Who's picking me up? I didn't know where I was staying. I just my bag and was out and got there and they stole all my stuff. I was like, ain't this, you know what, God, this that Tyler Perry stuff, ain't it? It's okay. I take Is this that anointed, Lord? Okay, I'll take it. You know, like it was so crazy. But
Yeah.
the experience was such a beautiful experience to meet so many people and directors and producers, just people that were all
Yeah.
into the same type of things, you know. I don't think I ever wanted to be an actress though. I just, you know, I love music. My first passion is music.
Yeah.
I love to sing.
Oh, that's
I love to sing. That's my passion, honestly. And I haven't done any of that. So don't listen. I haven't done any of that. They say you gonna jump in the booth. I'm like, nah. Let me go get some more water and lemons and work on it and stop smoking and everything. let me go get prepared for my passion. You know. But I love to sing. I love music. I love everything about it. So, but acting, you know, I can. But that wasn't not my first passion. It's definitely music and people.
hmm
Music and people. Those are my first two passions. Now, whatever else,
that's one. I was
go ahead.
I would say music. I know music. I feel like is in those categories because it's one of those. It requires emotion from you because it's your voice and it's what you're putting out and it's how you are touching people and it's how you're experiencing it. So there's so much beauty in music in general, whether it's the person who's playing the instrument or the person who's using their vocal instrument. Is it's that connection to the world is the way
Mhm.
I always I one I could listen to people sing all day long. I could listen to different types of music. I could listen to people play their instruments because like you can just see how people feel. You can see their emotions and what it does and it's a very connected thing.
You literally can feel it. You can literally
Mhm.
feel it, and I love the feel of it. Whether I'm listening to it or singing
Mhm.
it, and I love to dance. So if I'm singing and dancing, it's a whole. Don't get me a karaoke. It's a whole. It's a
Mhm.
performance, you know. But I can't help it. You really have to just be in your purpose and do what you want to do. You know.
It is. It is.
I can't wait to see
And
you in some more
there's
performance.
freedom in that.
There is.
That's
Yes, yes, especially dance. Oh, I think I lost. Wait a minute. Hold one moment. She came right back.
uh-oh. Like what happened?
That you popped right back up. I was like, wait, nope, there she is. But what about have you ever had a role that you were not able to really connect to like that? Like you didn't feel it?
Um, I will say I've had the opportunity for roles that I couldn't
Mhm.
connect to, so I went my separate ways. Um, because feel like that's usually, at least for me, not to say that I've had a ton of opportunities or different opportunities, but usually if whether it's theater, uh, I have been selective about what I was doing because I wanted it to be something that I could be honest with, and um, I have to be able to find a way to connect to whatever the person is or whatever the story is. And there's been a couple of at least conversations that I had with people for a role in that I just did not connect to the end story. Even if my character was someone I could connect to, I didn't connect with what the whole message of the story was or the character itself. And so I have stepped back from those because at least for me, that is important to me is that I think there has to be some truth in the message. As an actor, like your job is to play a role, and whether that is studying someone else and talking and connecting with someone else to kind of pull certain things from it, but you personally still have to be able to connect to some part of that character, in my opinion, for my message. And for me, If I can't do that, or if I'm not comfortable with the message, then that has to be a no. Because at the end of the day, I have to stay true to myself.
Do they put you in a lot of younger roles?
Yes, I find most of the time it's like 3 years older than your real age and up to like 10 years younger than your real age, depending is usually like the bracket. So I tend to like right now, because I just had 2 kids in the last 3 years.
What?
Um, yes, I have a 3-year-old and I have a 1.5-year-old, so I am fully in the rediscovering my priorities, my passion, who am I now as a person trying to do those things? Because 'cause I'm like, I have 2 whole little humans that I am responsible for, and that is blows my mind every single day.
Wow.
So trying to, like, transition to that to where it's still a lot of the stuff that I still get is, like, the non-mom person or the in that phase of life, and I am not in that phase of life anymore. So trying to, like, decide, do I wanna keep going to that area? Do I wanna start moving to, like, the more established type of woman and that kind of conversation in that age range? And so that is very much the self-discovery part that I'm in because it was like pre-COVID, I was in a whole different frame of mind, and then COVID happens, and then I had 2 kids, and I'm like, "Okay, what does this mean for what I wanna do?"
I think it gives you more longevity, though. I asked because you have such a young baby face.
Oh, thanks.
You you do, and that's why I said that they have to be giving her younger roles, but it definitely gives you more longevity because of it, you know.
Mhm.
But I get it, like you may want to, switch it up a little bit here and there to,
But it's
feel.
trying to yes, and it's still trying to find out how I have no, issues with playing someone younger. It's the how do you take the wisdom you have that has a few more things attached to that wisdom and then bring it to that person? Because there is like at a certain age there is a sense of there's a certain innocence there, and it's not that we lose our innocence as we get older, it's that our innocence is layered with wisdom. And so
Right.
how do you do both? You can do both. You can do both, but it's just finding like how does that work for you to kind of still show that with that innocence, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. You just had 2 children within what, 4 years?
Yeah, yeah.
How are you handling your like hormones and emotions after having children back to back, and,
Um,
and trying to act and all this?
um, well, one thing that I did from having my first child to my second child, because my son was born in 2021 and then my daughter was born in 2023. So they were a week under 2 years apart.
Mm,
Um, and what I did with her was I started going to therapy for postpartum because I wanted to make sure I knew how hard postpartum was with my son. Just the, like you said, the hormone changes, trying to work, dynamic. Who am I now after having a kid? All the things that come with that. And I've done therapy in the past. Like 2018, 2019, 2020, somewhere in that range. I did like a year or so of therapy. So I am not unfamiliar. And it kind of felt like that moment of how I view therapy is you should go to therapy before there's a problem. But obviously, if there's a problem, go to therapy. And
mm-hmm.
then when you know that you're going through transitions or changes or a period of time, go to therapy because it's like anything else. You go to the gym to, tune up and get in shape and do all the things. So why would we not do that for our mental health? So that did help me, I think, postpartum recover more. I will say the other pieces was the being gentle with yourself because it took you 9 months to make this baby, and then we see everywhere everyone's snapping back and jumping right into things, and your hormones stay out of whack for a while. If you're nursing, they stay out of whack for a while. So with both of my
Mhm.
kids, I did not feel normalized hormonally until I stopped nursing. But then while I was doing those phases, I did a lot of research on eating and exercising, eating to support my hormones, eating to support all of the cycles happening in my body, because those are the first lines of defense you have to when you start experiencing different fluctuations emotionally. It's usually because the hormone imbalance is happening. So try to eat for that, try to exercise for that, try to get your sleep, make sure that you take time for yourself. If you need to meditate, if you need to do yoga, if you need to pick up a hobby, you deserve it. You are going through a lot. So that was kind of my whole, just adding on the layers. And that, again, that's where that community of women came into play. I reached out to every single woman that I knew that had kids to understand what they were going through. If I needed to call someone in a Target parking lot and just let all the convers I would do it. And so, and I think those are huge things that helped me, that I, again, still am doing now, because um it's just, it's these kids, and you are still a person and you love these kids and they're doing all the things and you want to be there for them, but then you also have to still pour into your cup, and so you can pour into someone else's cup.
Right. That's true. You there? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, did she? I was like, did she freeze? But I'm glad you
I'm
went there.
still
That
here.
was perfect. That was a perfect moment right there. So many people don't realize having children will have your balance, your hormones imbalanced, and they don't know what to do with that. And that's another one of those vulnerable conversations that we have to have. Is so many women
Mhm.
that are going to watch this show and they may have stair steps and they don't know what to do and they're feeling bonkers, and that's she really just gave you the equation. You have to eat right. You have to get
Mhm.
rest. When the baby go
Mhm.
to sleep, don't get up and clean your house. When the baby go to sleep, go to bed. Go to sleep with the baby.
Mhm.
Go to sleep with the baby.
Yeah.
Make eating. Get you some water. Work out. If you can't go outside to work out, start doing something inside the house. Yes.
Yeah,
You have.
because it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And I know there was, I would try to just do little things in my garage, because I was like, I gotta get my blood flowing. I have to get my mind, like, just flush everything out. And like you said, I know with my first son, oh my gosh, I feel like even outside of the sleep deprivation that comes with newborns, it was, my anxiety was through the roof. So I really wasn't sleeping. And like you said, I kept hearing everybody say, sleep when the baby sleeps, sleep when the baby sleeps. And I'm like, but how? There's things, and you gotta pump and wash parts and clothes. And then my husband, he's doing clothes and this, and he's trying to support her. And we're both just like looking at each other like, when you did you sleep? No, I didn't sleep. Did you sleep? No, I didn't sleep. And trying to figure out how to find that balance, because it is important. And I will say, once I started to realize, like, yes, there are these things that I need to do, but if I don't sleep first, then at a 3 a.m. feeding, I'm not going to be able to help anyone. So
Mm-hmm.
I need to get sleep. We trade off. You get sleep. We trade off. You do this, and just start using the resources. And then, too, also, my mom was also amazing, because she came out, and especially for my son, she was out for a month. She came and stayed with me and my husband and tried to help us do the things. And I feel like she encouraged that too, because she would take the baby. She was like, you guys need to go get out of the house, go do something and feel normal and get out of the house. Because
She
once
was so excited you had the baby. I swear.
yes.
And when she left, everybody like, Deanna, how long you gonna be gone? I don't know. I'm going to the baby. Like,
Yes.
good
She
excuse.
was
Fine.
she was doing everything, and I think if she was reminding us, which I think can also be the thing too, is when you have kids, you kind of get in this bubble.
Yeah.
And she definitely encourages, like, you got to get outside because you are a mom now, you are a father now, but you're still a person. So go somewhere, go have dinner so you can, like, yes, this is your world, your child. You are your child's whole world at that age. And now you're doing, but like, you're also still you. So go do those things because you should, because you need them, and you are still a person in connection with also being a parent.
Yes. Yes. That's awesome. Do you think any of your children are gonna follow in your footsteps and jump into acting?
Um, I have no clue. I think they have, of course, they are my kids, and I think they have the best personalities. I think they are um performative and just entertaining, and I can see that in them. I am of the guys of like, I want you to try everything. I just want you to experience everything so that you can really know what your passion is, because whether it's acting, whether it's tech, whether it's athletic, something, whatever the avenue, I just want them to try everything. And I think they have such beautiful personalities to where they just are, I don't, they just feel, they look so fearless. Like when they're doing stuff, they're just so fearless. And I just want to help cultivate that fearlessness in whatever they choose to do.
I can tell you love being a mom when you start talking about the babies, your whole face just light up like you just love.
I I love, yes, I absolutely do. I love these two little humans because I just, I think I don't know, it's something about, it was something about like watching, having a kid, and then you watch them experience the world.
Yeah.
And then you see how they learn things, and then how they take things in, and how they connect pieces together. And that it just is, literally, that is probably the conversation I have with myself on a regular day of just like, oh my gosh, like it's just so beautiful to me.
They are. I'm a mom too, so I'm watching you good. So I'm thinking about mine, like, oh, you're like, oh, because they just you can't if motherhood is a thing that has to be experienced to understand it truly. And I've had
Mhm.
coworkers that would want to tell me about motherhood that never had children. And I have to tell them,
Mhm.
have a child, and then we'll have this conversation. Like,
Mhm.
just have a child. And I don't care about babysitting. Have your own. And let's carry on this
Mhm.
conversation. Because your children, I was having a conversation with someone about having children, and they were so afraid about having children in this time. And I said,
Mhm.
don't you think that maybe our ancestors may have said the same thing? But oh no, not now, because it's just too bad out here. Like, and time keeps
Mhm.
progressing and people keep living and they adapt. And you have these new babies, they come out doing things that are so extraordinary. It's like, wow.
Mhm.
They come preloaded, don't they?
Yeah.
They're ready for what they're
Yes.
here for at this time.
Yes. Well,
They're
so
so
there's,
smart.
it becomes a thing like, there, we can't predict how things will be. All we can, I don't want to say the only moment that matters is the moment now, but you just never know. How to, someone had told me, even I had an acting teacher actually who told me that they were like, while you're going on this journey, you can't hold your life, you can't stop your life for what you think the future may be. They're
Mm.
like, even as actor or even as an entertainer, whatever goal or job that you're going after, if you are holding your life to achieve this goal, then will have missed decades of your life, months or years of your life. So you have to keep living your life while you're trying to get to the goal, whatever the goal may be, however things may shape up. You have to keep living your life because that is a part of what motivates you to get to the goal. If you're cutting everything off and cutting other people off and you're not pursuing whatever, if you want relationships, if you're not pursuing those, then you will get to the goal and you will literally be the only person there. And you can't bank on that. Like you just have to do both. Like you can pursue your goal and live your life. You can get, focus on how do we get to tomorrow and the day after, but like live your life, have joy, do the things that make you happy and make other people happy in the process. Cause that's what keeps it turning.
That's true. That's true, and that's a good place to leave it too. Like when you're going after your dream and desire, don't forget to live your life. Don't forget to enjoy the journey. I've had people go out of town. You ever travel with people and they complain the whole time you're driving? Like I don't travel with people. Like we get there now, we supposed to have fun, but the whole ride was like
It was miserable till we got here.
yeah. I mean, literally, people have to understand how to enjoy the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get there and you need to enjoy that present space.
Mm-hmm.
And then enjoy the journey back, because then life becomes more enjoyable as you
It
continue
does.
yeah,
It does.
experience it. Like you said, I wanted to do this since I was a kid. And so I went and I decided to up and go do this. And I decided I wanted to go try to see what this was about. Hey, I don't know what's gonna, but the opportunities are knocking, so I need to answer it. And I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know,
Yes.
it's a grateful space to be in. How did you get involved in this software? Look, I got 8 minutes left. Like, how did you get involved in software?
Um, it
Acting
honestly
software.
it was a combination of two things. So like as I was doing stuff out here acting related, and you got your day job that pays the bills, and then you have your act, like something has to pay for the acting classes while you're trying to get work and consistent work and all the things. And so I was just looking for something that had a bit more either flexibility or to it. And so I started trying with a few sales types jobs. And then, really, because of COVID and everything going remote, especially out here on the West Coast, um, training became almost like a second nature thing for me because of dealing with acting, because of having that experience of a lot of it is working with other people and talking with other people under different circumstances. I then found out that I have a knack in patience being the number one thing, to work with other people and help them learn something else. So that's kind of where that started. I gravitated to, oh, a lot of other people get frustrated trying to teach someone a new task. And that's not something that frustrates me, or because I can change it up. I don't know. I just have a lot of patience and understanding for everyone learns very differently. And so I gravitated to that, and then became an easier thing because I technology and software is not always the easiest thing. It changes so quickly, and that could be difficult for people to transition to. Companies implementing new softwares or new processes, and how do you get everyone comfortable to do so? And most of the time, if people just get the right training, which is just get the right support, they will be successful in doing that thing. And so apparently I just have a lot of patience for that process, and I mean, I do like it a lot.
So you found two things that you really like, really enjoy doing. That's great.
Hmm. That's it. I try to always navigate like find the area that you like, because chances are there's so many things that you do feel comfortable with or that you like doing or that only you can do per se, and then just focus on that. Don't try to make yourself be something else just because somebody else is. Oh, well, this person has this type of job or they're doing this type of thing. But that may not be you. That may not be you, and that is okay. And it's okay to find what that is.
That's true. That is so true. I am so glad that you jumped on the live with me today. We had a wonderful conversation. I just knowing your mom and then meeting you. I mean, you're a chip off the old block. You have such a beautiful spirit, just like your mother, heart and all. And thank you for coming on here and sharing and being vulnerable and talking about all of the things you have. And I just pray that God bless you with the type of acting position that you truly desire. And
thank you.
And I believe that it's going to happen real soon too. So I just can't wait. I can't wait to see you on the big screen, girl, because we're gonna be on it together, and we're gonna walk the red carpet together. Okay?
Yes.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna celebrate this
Yes.
thing together, and we're gonna show people how we can do things in excellence, decent, and in order. Thank you guys for joining me for another segment of I keep wanting to say, let me be real with you, y'all. I gotta get it out of my system. That gotta come back. That'll be next season, y'all. To dear sister, thank you for being my sister today. I see you guys here again next week, next Wednesday at 6, maybe 8. I think I'm gonna change it to 8. I'm gonna push you back a little bit, you guys, a little later in the evening. And I'm thankful for each one of you that have been watching and sharing. Don't forget to share. Leave a comment if you guys want to be another guest on the show, the next guest on the show. And thank you all. I'll see you guys again next time, Wednesday. I'm going to say 8 o'clock. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.